to do that and to be that way with like friends and to be happy and stuff like that. So like when somebody's nice to me and when someone is a friend of mine, like I consider them a very important friend for as long as it, until they change their mind, basically.
You know,
So I
it
try to be loyal.
literally it stuck out in my head that, and I don't think I've ever actually said this to you, um, but it stuck out in my head ever since you did that because you were one of the only people who called me when I got out, and the fact that everybody had my number didn't change, and you called me from South Korea. And people who were in the same city as me couldn't fucking call me and say, "Hey, how you doing?" It meant a lot to me. So I want to bring this up, and it's like I said, it's partially selfish reasons because I want you back here because you being here will make it a hell of a lot easier for us to do the slideshow consistently. Um, and that's me being honest. Is it's partially selfish, um, but the other reason is for you because I know you will be in a better position when you're back in the country with your friends and family. You don't have much going on in Korea. And so here's what we've got going on. One of okay, so we don't normally call each other by our real names, but everybody knows I'm Joe. Kool-Aid's real name is Josh.
Yep.
So one of Josh's friends started a GoFundMe because, as we talked about earlier, um, with him not making much money since his jobs were basically like, no, go fuck yourself. You're too fat to work for anybody. Um,
Well, the other thing too that I don't normally talk about is like I've had some really horrific luck like when it comes to we had after originally after we had gotten or I had gotten laid off. um One of the things that happened was like we decided to try to buy like a place to live because one of the things that is nice about these um the jobs that I work at is that they pay for your rent and stuff like that. So like you get paid your salary and then they also pay for your rent. Well, since I didn't have a job anymore, like I didn't have a place to live and stuff like that. So and I wasn't making any money, so we decided to buy a house. And like one of the things that I had been doing all this time is I had been saving all my money and like I had done all this really good stuff to like just try to earn money and stuff. Well, what ended up happening was we tried to buy a house and not like a real house, but like like the Korean equivalent of one. It was gonna cost about $40,000, and we took every single like bit of our savings, and then we also took out roughly $15,000 loan about to finish it so that we could buy this house because that's like how you do it here. You don't take out like a mortgage. Um, you basically you do it that way. Well, what ended up happening was the person like, which is like kind of the Korean equivalent of like a realtor, just basically stole the money and disappeared. So we had bought this house, we had paid everything for it, and then the realtor disappeared and took every penny that we had had. So all my savings for 5 years in Korea, and then on top of that, like a loan that we had to pay off. It was only like it's like a 2 year term on that loan. So we ended up paying like $1,000 a month or whatever for this loan that we didn't have. Like we just didn't have the money for it. So it basically to make a long story short, I went from being like moderately like comfortable, like middle class, to what's essentially destitute. I'm basically destitute. I have nothing, no money, no anything. So
so
back to what you were saying.
so due to this, one of Josh's friends, Carla, had started a GoFundMe account to bring Josh and Ilhan home. So what this was originally set to do was it was going to bring them here for a visit. And Josh had reached out to Carla and said, I want to come and visit, but and I feel like I'm probably going to paraphrase this. I feel like this is probably more or closer to what the conversation was actually like. So if I summarize, feel free to correct me. But I feel like it was more of a conversation like, look, I really want to come and visit, but I feel like if I come back, I'm not going to go back to Korea. Um,
Pretty much, yeah.
so what it really turned into is, let's bring him home to stay here. And the goal is for us to raise enough money to bring Kool-Aid back home to Wisconsin so he can,
Well, the other
rebuild.
thing too, though, that the reason that it spawned from it was because, like, I have not been home in 4 years. I have been in
True.
Korea for 4 solid years without ever leaving because I just have never, like, the years that I did have money, I was always saving, like trying to save up
Pay
to
off
pay off
credit
my student
cards.
loans and credit cards and
Yeah.
stuff, so that when I did come home, that we could like move back to Wisconsin, like put down a down payment on a house, and like actually like have like a responsible adult life basically. And then it was all completely wiped out. So she kind of surprised me with like just one day, like she's like, "Well, let's see if we can, let's change that. Like you have a lot of friends, Josh. Everybody loves you. Like why don't we see what we can do and see if we can get people to donate money to come to bring you home." And I just one day I didn't know she was going to do it, but like I woke up and she sent me a link that said, basically to this GoFundMe campaign, and my initial thoughts were like, "Oh no, 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 no." Because I'm a very prideful person. Like the whole thing shames me greatly. Like I'm really like it doesn't sound like it because I'm talking about it now, but like this is after like 2 weeks or almost 3 weeks
Yep.
now of this going on. But like the first couple weeks, like I was I was like not crying, but like physically ill.
Now, I want to point this out is the GoFundMe that started, we're almost a fifth of the way there. In realistically, in the 16 days, that is an incredible amount to raise. That means there is that many people who love you enough to help you get home. Now, you
Take a
and
look
me,
how many shares it has.
it's got a lot. Um, I do want to point this out, and you and I have talked about this before. A couple of different things. The first thing is the way the update is worded is real weird because it probably shouldn't be worded the way it is worded. Um, what you really had discussed with Carla was the fact that as opposed to coming for a visit, you wanted to move here, and it would cost $5,000 as opposed to you
Yeah,
requesting
the
it
original
to
the
be five
original
thousand.
request, the original thing that she did was this as a vacation.
Right. So, the way she worded it inside of the GoFundMe account for the update is a little odd. In fact, I might even message her and talk to her about that a little bit and ask if she
If
can.
if you do though, tell her that you're doing this without like I didn't say anything to
No, no,
you.
no, 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 no. This is purely on me. Like I think it's worded a little weird, and it almost the way it's worded looks a little selfish, and I don't think that was the case. You get
Agreed.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, no, I kind of had that thought too, where I was like, because the way it's worded, it says that Josh requested that the limit or the goal be increased to five
Right.
thousand, and it wasn't that I requested 5,000 because
It's
I
that you
wanted more
said this is
money.
what I need in order
Yeah,
to. Right, and that's a different scenario. Like if you said, "Hey, look, 2,000 is great, but can we get 5,000?" That's a request. If you're saying, "Look, I'd rather, try and move back, and in order to do that, this is how much I would need." That's still a request, but you didn't ask her to change it.
because maybe like it's not like maybe people, not everybody has moved, maybe, but like if you think of like how much it costs to move from one city to the next,
Okay,
or like
let's let's talk about this for a second. And I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm going to put this in perspective. I moved from Fort Myers, Florida, which is southwest Florida, to Wisconsin. We're going to call it, the Green Bay area in Wisconsin, about 2,500 miles. 2,500 miles. Now, you're what? You're about 5,700 miles away, right?
something like that. Yeah, I'm
Something like
across
that.
an ocean.
Plus, across an ocean, and you have to take an airplane because a boat would fucking take you a month to get to us.
I don't even think a boat is an option.
Is that not? Well, I guess
I
you
don't
would
think
have
it
to be
is
worried
anymore.
about South Korea blowing you the fuck up, or North Korea blowing you the fuck up anyway.
Well, I don't even like. Where would you even
You would
like if
probably have to go from South Korea to Japan, and then from Japan to Hawaii, and then from Hawaii to San Diego first.
that really wouldn't be cheaper than a plane ticket anyway.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like it wouldn't even be economical for you. But so I moved from Fort Myers, Florida, to Green Bay, Wisconsin. Now I stayed in a hotel 2 nights, and I drove with all of my shit. I rented a truck, and it cost me $7,000. $7,000 to move across country with all of my shit. Kool-Aid is, moving across the world for less than what it cost me. And that's with very, very little, if anything at all. Maybe what are you gonna bring with you? Your cat and a carry-on?
Pretty much. Like I don't really like my raggedy ass clothes because like I can't just buy clothes in Korea because of my weight and stuff. But like I don't own really anything because what I mean. I live in Korea. Like I'm not gonna buy like a refrigerator, and I'm not gonna buy all this stuff. So I have nothing basically. I own
Now,
nothing.
the benefit that you have is you have friends and family in the Wisconsin area that will help you once you get here.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
the biggest portion of it is getting you here in general. Um, but the idea behind the GoFundMe is not just to get you here, but is to make you well off enough to get you started. Get you started in a way that because you and Ilhan are going to come at separate times, right?
yeah.
So you're gonna get here first and get yourself stable and in a position where you can bring Ilhan here, get a green card for her, and then get her on her way, so you guys can create a loving family together.
Yep.
The problem it seems to be to me is you guys need now. Is she open to coming to the states?
She waffles. I think
Waffles.
ultimately.
So she
I
has
think
like her high points and low points.
Yeah, sometimes she's like, "Yeah, I'm really excited and can't wait," and other times she's like, "I don't think I want to." So, I think it's going to ultimately come down to like when she does come for that first visit.
What's it gonna be like?
Yeah,
Well,
because
then you
she
definitely need to bring her up to visit me and Josh because we'll make sure she wants to stay.
she's afraid that people aren't going to like her, that people aren't going to talk to her, and that she's not going to be able to find a job because like she has a master's degree and in Korea she has a really good job, but like the master's degree transfer um to doesn't transfer.
What's her
uh
master's in?
it's like nutrition, but like it doesn't.
She could.
um
No, wait, 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 wait. So her concern is that she's not going to be able to get a job. She it, man, how good is she at English? I mean I know she's I've talked to her before. We've talked a little bit, but I know she's okay. But how if she could literally get a job if at any health club.
but the problem is that her degree doesn't transfer.
The degree doesn't matter here. This is the United States. Fucking degrees don't matter.
That's true.
But that's her concern. I understand her concern because master's degrees are very, very expensive. I don't
Yeah.
know. And I'm sure they are in Korea too. Um, but here, just the experience that she has based on that, because you said she works for like the Korean equivalent to the FDA, right?
Yeah,
That will
basically.
matter here. That will play into account whether she knows the language or not. Because I know there's a market. And at the very, very, very least, at the very least, translator. At the very least, right?
Probably, possibly.
So, I mean, there's options. And, like, that's why I said you need to bring her around me and hands on because we'll be like the positive people that be like, we'll get you taken care of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so like it'll be fun, I think, but I'm kind of I'm and it's probably a good thing that she's not here for me to say this, but like I'm both willing to accept her coming and her not coming. Because like while we are married and without a doubt, like I obviously love the girl, like
You're not married in the
I
United States.
I'm not married in the United States, but on top of that, like I physically and mentally just I can't live here anymore. I can't do it. So, I mean, it's a tough Sophie's choice type of a situation, but like there was never a point in our relationship where I was like I'm going to live in Korea for the rest of my life. Like before, like when we first started dating,
Did
like one
she
of the
know
first
that?
things I ever, yes, absolutely. I
Okay.
was very, very honest from right away. Um, I was very honest from the beginning that I had no intentions of living in Korea forever. That I very much had wanted to go move back to America within a year or so. And that that year of course stretched out into going on
Right.
4 years now, but regardless. So there. So yeah. So it's gonna take some time and stuff like that, but whatever happens that way is what it'll do. But I don't know. I'm hoping I can get home and that things will work out for me.
My okay, and your goal may be separate from mine, but I actually have an independent goal for both of you guys. And this is me as a friend, and I don't know if any of your other friends have literally built goals for you besides Carla. Carla has legitimately built a goal for you. Um, and I have a little bit of I want to say it's a more realistic goal, but that's because I know you and I've talked to you, and I don't know how you've talked to Carla, but or what kind of conversations you've had with them. But this is kind of my goal for you. Okay, I want to take you through it if you're okay with that.
Yeah, go for it.
I want to get you here because I know that you guys can't come at the same time. It's just not going to be feasible because once we get you here, that's going to take about two-fifths of the money to get you here, and then getting you here, getting you into a place, that's going to take another third of that, if not another two-thirds of that. So then you're going to be left with just enough to get you by for another 1 or 2 months. So and that should be enough to hopefully push you along until you get a position somewhere that will allow you to stabilize yourself. So with the money that's being requested right now, that's literally just enough to get you here and then get you by for a month or two, as far as from what I can see. Based on, my calculations and I'm from Kakana, so my math is horrible. But that's my math. Um I estimate about 2 months. Is that about what you came up with?
For like what was between like me coming here and her coming here?
No, between you coming there and what you're gonna have left with if you get the $5,000. That's what I come up. That's
Oh,
the math I
yeah,
came
probably
up with
around there.
is you getting here, getting the things you need, and being able to survive. I give that the $5,000. I managed to, if you lived on bare minute like ramen noodle diet and shit,
Yeah,
which is
conservatively, like if I didn't almost know like
anything.
exciting things, like I basically just focused on getting things going, then yeah,
That's
about two
about
months.
2 months. Okay. So then our math isn't far off. So this is what my thought was is that we would get you here and then everybody who knows you would do, and I know this isn't going to happen, but there's enough people who know you who care about you that it may work. But everybody, kind of does what we can to get you into a position. And, like you have more certifications in IT than I do now.
I still feel like not enough certifications that it's going to make too much of a, but it all kind of depends on. I just need a company that's
I have
willing to take a
none.
shot on me.
Um,
I don't think I have any official ones, but
it
I
official
have
ones don't
experience.
fucking matter. I don't have like I don't have shit. I don't have shit. Um, but here's the thing is like honestly, you don't have any kids. You could probably like build a decent life on like $12 an hour, which is a fairly minimal wage in Wisconsin.
Yeah, but I have student loans and stuff like that, so like I couldn't
That you
live
do.
off of $12 an hour. Like that's just not possible.
That you do. So then there's things to take into account. Is
I would probably need about 40 grand to before I could really start making like, I mean 35 I could probably make it if I'm not like, that's pretty bare bones, but
so
But I
Well,
also think that I could get a $35,000, $40,000 a year job. I mean, I'm 32 years old. I think at this point, like a company, if I can get a company to hire me, I don't think that that kind of money is going to be too much of a problem.
to put that into perspective, the $43,000 a year is $20 an hour at 40 hours in a week, or it's $14 an hour at 60 hours a week. So, just something to keep in mind for
No, it sounds. I
perspective's
mean, it
sake.
sounds like it's possible.
It's not something that's not possible. It's a very, especially in Wisconsin, just something to think about is the fact that in order to achieve that, you may be stuck in a factory for the first, while you're trying to get yourself set up.
Nah, I have some friends that work at some companies that there's some like that I can get jobs where the starting pay is 35 to 40.
Oh, you know some friends. You
Yeah.
definitely know some friends. Um, not that I'm one of those people or anything. But anyway, the fact of the matter is like there's options for you once you get here, and as long as we can get you set, I feel like if we do this now, we could probably, once we prove you're set, we could probably do another GoFundMe to get Ilhan here. And
Probably, yeah.
I think that we could help you guys build your family if that was something that both of you were interested in doing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm very interested in that. So, I mean, it's going to take some time, but I mean, if I can get my life back on track the way things, because I mean, I worked my ass off for like 5 years of putting up with, like, there was never a moment in Korea where I was enjoying my time. It was always like a plan for, like, I'm going to suffer through this part of my life so that I could be an adult. I can come home and start, living. And basically, I came home to earn money, so I put up with it, and then to have it all taken away and essentially make the last couple of years, a waste of my life, unfortunately, is what's really difficult for me to put out to accept.
But what have you built? I mean, like you can't look at the negatives in your life. You have to look at the positives. So what have you built in that? You built a relationship with a wonderful woman who you absolutely love.
Yeah, but if I didn't come to Korea, like, I wouldn't have met her, and then I wouldn't have known what I was missing anyways, and I probably would have found a different wife. So I mean, the romantic in me is like,
Okay,
of course, like,
that's true.
you, I the romantic in me says, like, oh, look at that, but like the other, the realistic pragmatist in me is kind of like, well, is it not a Pyrrhic victory? Like, was the cost more than the benefit?
That Okay, I can see that. I legitimately can see that. And honestly, because I'm a very romantic person, I don't want to see that. That's why I focus so much of that on Ilhan. Because I'm a very, very romantic person, and I love to see, romantic things come to fruition. Um, but when all is said and done, in the end, what do you want to see happen?
I want to move home and start a family. I want children. I've wanted children for the longest time. Like, the only reason why we're not having children now is because of the money, because it's irresponsible. Like,
That is amazing to me. And maybe it's because you're in Korea. I don't know what kind of programs they have in Korea, but in Wisconsin or not in Wisconsin, but in the United States that doesn't stop people, and we both know it does. You're a Republican. You know.
not anymore.
Are
Nowadays I
you
would be
shift? Are
considered.
you left of center, or are you just like kind of whatever?
I I'm probably now more left of center just because, but I used to be very Republican, but more of a pragmatist Republican, not like, because I've always been
You
extremely
were Ron Paul, is
socially
what you
liberal.
were.
Yeah, probably.
So you were more independent, or Tea
Probably,
Party,
yeah.
I guess.
Like,
Even
I
though
hate the Tea Party though.
like me, I'm registered as a Democrat, but I don't give a fuck about what the Democrats say. Like, I'm very much as like, I like to hear what I like to hear. And if the Democrats say shit that bothers me, I'm like, no. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I'm
Yeah,
I consider myself very moderate. So like, and I don't like that because it's not like being a moderate isn't a real party. If and when I say that, I say that with a grain of salt because being a moderate, your option is either being Democrat, Republican, or Independent. And I'm not because I have views from all the different people, and I'm like, no, I understand what you're saying, and I understand what you're saying, and I understand what you're saying, and what and you say all makes sense. And I like what you said about that, and what you said about that, and what you said about that. But altogether, if you were like one person all saying the same thing, you would be perfect. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I view everything as I consider myself a pragmatist, which everybody probably thinks of themselves in that way. But like, I try to take the thing I don't like is like when it comes to the Republicans, a lot of times they always talk about, oh, like we need smaller
fuck the
government,
gays
and stuff like that.
and
Like
fuck the gays.
I see the government as a necessary evil. Like they're the referees basically of a football game. Like when the referee fucks up, nobody likes them. But if you didn't have the referees, like then who's to stop the like one team from just saying like, no, that's a touchdown. What are you talking about? Like,
Here's a problem we have with our day and age is that people look at blogs as news, and that really pisses me off. And we were talking about this because we are. I'm gonna say are considering. And I'm gonna say considering because we haven't done it yet. We are considering of starting a satirical news website.
that's true.
But there are so many like rightwingnews.com. It's a very satirical blog is what I'm gonna say it is because it's not real news. It's not really what happens. It's somebody's opinion of what happened, and it's annoying because and I'm like I said, I'm in the middle, and I love the right to bear arms. I don't believe that anybody should have their guns taken away, but you're not going to sit here and tell me that Obama is taking everybody's guns away because it's not fucking happening. And you people who believe that shit are fucking retarded because it's not fucking happening. But you sit here and watch, you share this shit on Facebook because it happened on rightwingnews.com, and really all that is somebody's opinion of something that's happening that's actually not. That shit aggravates me because it's like, that's not real politics. That's
Well, it's
not.
amazing to me that people don't realize that perhaps what you're reading on a website called rightwingnews.com isn't going to exactly be an objective view of what you're looking at.
You are not CNN at that point in time. You are fucking Fox News. That's the best way to put it. Look, I look at it this way.
But there are people who legitimately think Fox News is center. That like they
But they're
view
not.
things like MS. Well, they view they're like CNN, MSNBC. Those are all liberal news outlets, and then there's the bastion of hope and there's the bastion of hope that's sitting firmly, fair and balanced in the middle, like is Fox News. And you're like,
Okay, look, okay. If people who are listening, this is legitimately how it goes. And Kool-Aid, because we are both, I was far more left than you were, and we both know this. We've had this conversation.
Yep.
This is how it legitimately goes. Fox News is fucking conservative. There's no way around it. It is as right wing as you can get. That's Rush Limbaugh, right wing. And then you have MSNBC, which is fucking left wing. You cannot get any further. This is Barack Obama, left wing. And then you have CNN. Fuck CNN. You know what? You want real news, go to BBC.
It's good. Yeah.
That is real. You
But
want
then,
real
of course,
news, go to BBC.
the conservatives don't like the BBC because there's this like huge fear of Europe.
I don't understand that either. Like, the thing is, like, for me, I feel like I should have been British because, like, the way they do things, I feel like is just a lot of the shit that they do is the same way that we do things, but I feel like the way they say it is in such a better way that like they can say you're a bunch of shitholes and I hate you, but they say it in such a nice way. They're like Canadians.
Well, even like the Irish.
The Scottish referendum, they're like, look, we don't like that it's happening, but we're going to let it happen because we love you and we want you to have your own voice. We know you're going to vote for us, so we're just going to let it happen anyway. And that's what happened. You know what I mean? When Scotland was going to be its own company, Scotland was like, hey, we want to be our own company. We want to be our own country. We don't want to deal with it no more. We don't want to deal with the British monarchy. You know, they were like that. And then in the end, they're like, you know what? I don't think the Brits are so bad. You know what I mean? That's what happened in the end. And that's, maybe I wonder what would have happened if, like, we didn't fight them so bad. Like, if we would have been under Queen Elizabeth or whoever the fuck is the queen right now. Like, how bad would it be right now?
I don't know.
I
Kind of up there though.
Well, like, think about this. Like, gay marriage would be legal in the entire country right now if we were still under the monarchy.
That's true. Well,
Right? Because she
it,
signed
it
into law,
sounds
and
weird.
she said, this was a quote from her, and it's not the exact quote, but this is the quote she said. She said, "Who would have thought when I took the throne 60 years ago, I would be signing in a law as wonderful as this?" When she was signing in the gay marriage law,
And this is a country that literally, like, was
Appalls
killing
it.
gays.
Yes,
Like,
they're
I mean,
like
you
they're
think
like
of Alan Turing, which just people are learning more about now because of the Imitation Game movie. But like, he killed himself because he
oppressed,
was punished, or he was
oppressed.
tried and convicted as a homosexual, like legally, like he was forced to take like drugs that destroyed his libido because like being gay was a crime, like punishable by like prison. Like, think about that. That's insane. It's horrible.
So
And then he killed himself because of it. And this is the man who invented the computer, basically.
I constantly look back at the movie, and this is one of my favorite movies of all times, but V for Vendetta, because it's so much what our culture is now. It really
Well,
is.
yeah. My only complaint with V for Vendetta is everybody thinks like that that V who wears the Guy Fawkes mask. Everybody thinks that Guy Fawkes was like this
Guy Fawkes was
bastion.
a terrorist.
Yeah, he was a horrible
He
terrorist
was
that
a
was
fucking terrorist. He blew up Parliament for no reason at all. They used him because of the only reason they used him in the movie was because he was a public figure that required a notice. That's the only reason they used him, is because the whole movie was based around Britain and they wanted somebody who was well known in Britain. And because of the whole remember the 5th of November thing, they needed to implement that somewhere. That was the only reason they used him. Guy Fawkes is a horrible, horrible fucking example because he was as bad as ISIL.
Yeah, he really was. I mean, the whole gunpowder plot was not because, as everybody thinks, the gunpowder plot was to fight government oppression, when in reality they wanted to kill the
Kill
king
Britons.
to institute a constitution, or to institute like the Catholic religion as the it was Catholic terrorism, though, basically is what it
It
was.
was because what it was is they okay. I'm an
And we have
English.
gotten way off topic, but
Fuck it. Who cares anymore?
true.
When have we ever stayed on topic?
That's true.
Okay.
That's kind of our calling card.
It really is because we don't plan our shows ahead of time. We just do them. We
We're
really
authentic.
one of these days we will have to start planning our fucking shows in advance.
True.
We tried that once. It didn't turn out very well, did it?
No, I think I think actually that went pretty well. But
That
that was
was
also when we had three microphones and we
we
were.
we did that, and then we had each of us doing something. Like, I was picking out certain things and Marty was talking about, picking out topics, and you were picking out this. And like, we were doing different things And today we were just like, hey, let's do a show.
Yeah, absolutely.
But here's the thing about Guy Fawkes. Okay, I want to keep a couple of things in mind. Um, when it comes to okay, I've been drink. I drank a whole bottle of wine tonight. By the way, did I tell you
That's
that?
funny.
I've
No.
I've drinking a whole bottle of Zinfandel. And I don't drink all that often, so I'm a little buggered up right now. But you know what? The last time I was this buggered up, I think I fell asleep at the mic. um, so here,
Definitely done that before.
I've definitely done that before a couple of times. That was back when we were. It wasn't the slideshow. It was drunken belligerent. Um,
True.
you remember that? You remember drunken belligerent? That was so much fun.
That was a fun show.
So here's the thing: is I forgot what we were talking about. I
Oh,
know we
show.
were talking about Guy Fawkes, but I forgot where I was going to go with it, with this conversation.
Well, I think it was around. We could just move on. I'm kind of forgetting myself now.
Yeah, see,
I'm so
like
stupid.
we went on too long, and now I'm like whatever. Um, the thing that we need to keep in mind though is that like with groups like Anonymous, I love Anonymous to death. Anonymous, as far as I'm concerned, is a fantastic group. And the reason why I feel that they're fantastic is because they're trying to do good thing or what they feel is right. They've got Robin Hood complex. They do what they feel is right for the rest of the people. There are anonymous members out there, or people who claim to be anonymous members out there, who do the wrong things for the wrong reasons. But I think the majority of people who are members of Anonymous, and when I say members of Anonymous, I'm using that term loosely because nobody is actually a member of Anonymous. Uh, just like, nobody was, whatever. Um, they're the ones who are like, we're taking down terrorist groups and we're doing this because we feel this is the right thing to do. Good. You know, I want to point this out though. I'm going to get shit on for this too. Okay? So, are you ready for this, Kool-Aid? You're about to hear something you've never thought you'd hear from me.
All right.
Can you tell me the difference between ISIS and um, any other government that wanted to expand their territory?
Not really. I mean, I've kind of. I think I know where you're going with this, and it's something that I've been saying for a while. When people talk about how like they say that, oh, like Islam is the most evil religion, and that like it's like that Christianity is like would never happen in Christianity and things like that. And like in reality, that's not the case at all.
No.
Like yes, the religion, it's basically ISIL and ISIS or whatever the fuck is basically what happens when you mix religion and government. I mean, the Spanish and Obama tried to make the comparison, and then everybody shit on him for it. Like when you
And
say
now
like
he's
when
not.
you know, that
He's like
Christianity, that
I'm
the
not touching
Crusades
it at
had
all anymore
um,
at all.
the Inquisition, where you're like, when the government and religion were one and the same, you had horrible things that happened because of fanaticism, and that's all the same thing ISIL is. Like, obviously, yes, ISIS needs to be stopped, but the reason why these comparisons are being made is that just because someone is a Muslim doesn't mean they're an evil person.
And I think that's why Obama is right. He, very I
Hello,
try not to agree with Obama. But and I say I try not to agree with
and I think
Obama.
my microphone is dead.
Hello? I still hear you. Hello? Hold on. So I try not to agree with Obama. I try not to for the particular reason is because I don't want to agree with any politician. But Um, here's the deal: is like he was absolutely right when he said, "I don't want to call the
Hello?
hello. Can you hear me?"
Yeah, I'm not hearing anything at all.
So, he killed us. He killed it. Okay. Well, I'm gonna finish up this. We'll see if he calls back. But I'm gonna finish up this thought before we end the show tonight. Um, Obama said, that he doesn't want to call ISIS a Islamist extremist group because they're not religious leaders. So because they're not religious leaders, they shouldn't be defined as Islamist extremists. And I agree with that. They're not religious leaders. They're just a bunch of people who say they're fighting in the name of this religion. And they're really not fighting in the name of the religion. They're fighting in the name of their own profit. And when I say profit, I don't mean profit in the sense of Jesus. I mean profit in the sense of, like, profit is in dollars. They're more concerned with material gain than they are with spiritual gain. They're not religious enough to be considered religious, jihadists. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. So, if you feel no, there's no reason. Don't even feel this way. There's no reason to consider all um, Muslim people and all people uh, who follow Islam as jihadists and people of ISIL and ISIS or whatever you want to call them. There's no reason for it. And the reason I say this is because they're not religious leaders. They're doing it for their own self gain and they're doing it for their own benefit. They're not doing it for the benefit of their cause or the benefit of their religion, even though they pretend that that's the case. But it's not the truth. If you have any questions about this, email blastsideshowradio@gmail.com. And we'll talk about it on the next episode of The Sideshow. I don't know when it's going to be. Hopefully it'll be next Saturday, but we'll see. I love you guys. And Kool-Aid love you guys. And we'll see you soon. I'm going to play a little Joe song on the way out. Maybe I'll get some new songs later, but I don't have any right now. So we're going to play Keep Coming, and we'll see you guys next time. I love you very much, and Kool-Aid loves you very much. If you have any time, please visit Sideshow Facebook page, which is facebook.com/The Sideshow Radio. I'll post the GoFundMe page up there so we can get Kool-Aid some money and try and get him back to the United States. I would love to have him here so we can have him in studio. It would be a great time. And I look forward to talking to you guys next time. And we'll see you later. Love you guys. Bye.
I flip, I flop, I'm headed to the top. When platinum plus and even does the album and even drop. They keep coming for me, 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 coming for me. But I will never stop. I flip, I flop, I'm headed to the top. When platinum plus and even does the album and even drop. They keep coming for me, 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 coming for me. But I will never stop. You know that Midwest Joe, that got that Midwest flow. Flavored like Cold Stone, I'm on that creamy glow. I'm on them 26s that make me stop and stare. I'm off that nectarine, smell like Jamaican, yeah. I ain't ghetto, I'm classy, discreet as the affair. In every show I drop, I got the sweetest speech you hear. I enter the city, the streets of cast of fear. Homie that you late, what if I say this in the ear? She got me captivated, damn, look at her rear. I posted at the bar like, fam, I need a beer. I see you staring at me like, man, oh man, he's here. Sign this piece of paper, get some pictures with the beers. Back the hell up, what this look like, Meals on Wheels? You tugging at my coat, ain't gonna get you any deals. I'll admit it, in the past I kinda had a thing for bills. Plus it's me and Jesse split, I'm too hot to take them real. I flip, I flop, I'm headed to the top. When platinum plus and even does the album and even drop. They keep coming for me, 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 coming for me. But I will never stop. I flip, I flop, I'm headed to the top. When platinum plus and even does the album and even drop. They keep coming for me, 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 coming for me. But I will never stop.
I started with the mixtapes, got in, got a buzz, dipped into the music game. I was tired of selling drugs, then I started me a camp. I tried to pick who wouldn't vamp, kept my mind up out the street, kept my dick up out the tramps. Nobody to run to, nobody to call on. I got into the game, suited up and got my ball on. Now they coming for me, trying to knock my hustle down. I'm still the same J Real, but with a little more muscle. Now I know a little more rappers and a lot more you freaky hoes. Started in the Bay, now I'm doing these Milwaukee shows. You steady coming for me, I'm steady bringing more. Most of you rappers stop, all of my niggas go. Lil Joe, let's get 'em like Method, let's bring the pain. Lil Joe, J Real, Scott New Round, we do the thing. Lil Joe, let's get 'em like Method, let's bring the pain. Lil Joe, J Real, Scott New Round, we winning, man.
I flip, I flop, I'm headed to the top. When platinum plus and even does the album and even drop. They keep coming for me, 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 coming for me. But I will never stop. I flip, I flop, I'm headed to the top. When platinum plus and even does the album and even drop. They keep coming for me, 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 coming for me. But I will never stop.
Yeah, Scott New Rhyme, I'm something that you ain't seen yet. Like a purple peach, feta, sour apple, green jet. Fresh out the joint, already on my BS. Raps Wolverine, X-Man, they get my team set. Real said we gone, well my nigga we gone. Then he played this track, I hit the booth and I start to explode. And you said you own 9, young nigga, I guess we own 10. So go ahead, try your luck, young boy. I break 4 limbs, sick of this bubblegum music. It's time we eat now, 414, 26. So you can know my street now. These walls I'm about to beat down, so open up the door. So potent and so focused, plus I'm worse than before. Midwest about to blow, so strap on your seatbelts. Keep coming, boy, and I'ma keep gunning until the streets fell. I do this for the poor kids, ones that don't have shit. BCE, ghetto live, it's time that we smash it.
I flip, I flop, I'm headed to the top. When platinum plus and even does the album and even drop. They keep coming for me, 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 coming for me. But I will never stop. I flip, I flop, I'm headed to the top. When platinum plus and even does the album and even drop. They keep